and welcome to the AdTech Heroes podcast. Today's episode is a special one, and we are live from Cannes, where we have 4 amazing guests today.
We chose this villa because it's not very far from Cannes, but at the same time it's also far enough so people can completely disconnect for all the crowds down at Cannes and just come here to relax at this little oasis that we love.
Today's topic is driving interest and engagement in the attention economy.
I mean, attention is more important than ever because obviously with everything, the death of cookies, we gotta make sure that we are more connected and we find ways to be there for the consumer.
With attention, it's like a metric that I think we should all be looking at. You know, we've seen it in like other spheres where like, you know, the likes of Lumen has been working with like print publishers for a really long time and actually now coming to the digital space. I think, you know, it's just an evolution of what's actually happened in the market.
Attention's important for many different reasons. Brands are looking at attention for upper funnel metrics, mid funnel and lower funnel metrics as well. What you want is your attention to be grabbed, and it's as simple as that. And what does that do? It makes you think about a brand, a product, and then enforces some decision making later down the line.
After the 2 years of pandemic, I realized how tall or how short everyone is because of Zoom.
Being around like other creatives and just bouncing off ideas, I think that's something that's been lost during that pandemic period.
Instead of saying your camera isn't working, it's so much better just to say lovely to meet you in person, finally.
Danielle, you're on mute.
Am I?
No.
I think the death of the cookie has made a lot of marketers think differently now. I think they need to mix things up. They might not have the data that they had in the past with the use of the cookie.
You know, for a period of time, it was all about, you know, simple metrics like click-through rates and last click attribution. But I think actually at the moment now, we're really accelerating the attention conversation.
I think we used to buy a lot based on cookies. And I think attention, what it is sort of going back to the pure of creativity. Of being able to call attention more than ever. So I think it is actually a beautiful opportunity for brands.
Attention is basically the real meaning of impact, especially in media impact for us was almost the bigger the better. And I feel like attention now is actually driving that impact, but it's more about all the variables that attention contain together.
So what we're doing is kind of working with the likes of Playground XYZ and actually like reviewing like, you know, our formats in terms of what we're putting out and actually trying to see a way of like how we can measure attention and actually have a conversation with the market in terms of like having key metrics that are standardized across every agency, every publisher, and actually challenge publishers to actually look at their formats and actually see which is there a possibility to, you know, optimize to, you know, a highly engaged format or, you know, drive that attention conversation.
So we're trying to learn how do we reframe things, how do we look at consumers.
I think the key thing is to partner with reputable companies and vendors. There's no point in marking your own homework. So if a media owner is saying our attention is better than all the competition that's out there, and they're just marking their own homework, it's no good. So you need to team up with the right players within the industry. Are we now going back to the creative and asking those questions? You know, we don't want scale. We don't want to serve the same leaderboard ad across 50 different sites saying the same message. Like, are we adapting that creative and being a lot more creative? Are you seeing that on the agency side?
We're getting more and more opportunities for creativity. I think that the more complex it gets, the more creative we get. And I think year after year, and starting with Cannes, we're seeing like the playground is getting more interesting, and the work and the creativity is at the center to call attention and everything. So it's just gonna get better.
What excites me is that the fact that like everything is kind of, you know, evolving and growing. I think what would be exciting would be to see if like, you know, we can have one kind of attention metric that we can measure across all channels. I mean, that's a bit bold, but I think like, you know, the likes of like TV, like print have been to publishers who've been doing it for a long time, but I think obviously the digital space is kind of accelerating that conversation. We know how a lot of things are becoming more digitized as well, so that's what's going to be exciting, I think, about the future.
You think of the metaverse, you think of VR, AR, social, influencer marketing, a lot around digital and contextual. There's so many different ways that you can go, and as media owners and as suppliers, it's super exciting for us because there's tons of innovation in the industry. So that's all we've got time for today, in today's episode. Thanks Alex, Danielle, Andrés and Michelle for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup.